Retro John here, and with me for our very first podcast and every other podcast thereafter is Jared Joseph. So,
hello, everybody.
Right out of the gate, we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that because I have a nickname that was bestowed upon me many years ago because of a favorite wrestler of mine. Makes no damn sense because I don't have two J's in my name. You do. So you are henceforth shall be known as Double J, Jared Joseph. There we go.
Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good.
So busy week.
It's been nuts,
I'm not talking about
man.
Personal life either. Just
no
geekdom.
Geekdom has been nuts this week. So nuts. It's wow,
emotional roller coaster. These is the big reason. Was Snake Eyes?
What did you do?
Guys.
What did you do?
What did you do?
It's been nuts, man. Like I feel like we've known about this show for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like last week just exploded and went nuts. And it was just like
people are out for blood.
Like,
whether you like the new series or hate it, people are on both sides are like
they are. It
out
is
for blood.
Man,
let's real quick. How has your week been?
It's been good. Just, working and following everything going on. It's just been, it's been nuts though. Facebook, Twitter, all that's just like been blowing up. YouTube, like, oh man. How's your week been?
I have canceled so many YouTube channels just the last couple of days alone.
Yeah.
Just because of the outright hate on both sides.
Oh man.
Unbelievable.
And I swear it was what was it, like Clownfish or something? Like I was getting notifications, like I feel like every hour on the hour.
Yeah. Because they feel they're owed an apology. And we'll get into all of that here.
Right.
A little bit here. But yeah, and I was someone who enjoyed watching Clownfish and
right.
Yeah,
it's just like I feel like they are a huge part of just like turning people to the dark side, I guess you could say.
Now, as far as like the Princesses of Power show,
yeah,
they were on top of that constantly, and I was like, yeah, definitely, yeah,
All
but
right.
there's, oh my God. I mean, like I said, you're only on one side or the other. And of course, if you don't know what we're talking about and you've been living in a bubble, we are, of course, talking about Masters of the Universe Revelation, exclusively on Netflix.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been insane, man.
So let's just get it right out of the right. Let's just say it right out of the gate here, so people can decide whether they want to tune in or not.
All right.
To continue to tune in, and correct me if I'm wrong. We both liked the show.
I did. I loved it. I had the privilege of binge watching it at work on my cell phone when we were in between customers and everything. So it was I loved every minute of it, man. It was awesome. I had no complaints. Besides, it was only 5 episodes.
I've got complaints. Of course, I have complaints.
Right.
Now, when did you get into the series? Because this came out in 1982, and I know you weren't born until 1982.
I was born in 1984.
So you caught the reruns.
I did.
Reruns, the DVDs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
USA Cartoon Network.
As far back as I can remember, I remember my cousin had the action figures and stuff, and he used to watch it all the time, and I'd watch it with him. And then I was like, man, I want those. So then I started collecting.
Did you had some of the old figures then?
I had most of the common guys. I can't say I had any like hard to find ones and stuff, but mostly Walmart. I remember going into Walmart and buying figures when I was like really young. I was probably like 4, maybe 5.
So I was there from the very beginning,
Right.
1982. In fact, my two very first action figures ever owned was He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah.
My mom bought it because she bought me a good guy. I needed a bad guy. I didn't know who He-Man and Skeletor were at the time. There was no
Right.
cartoon series yet. There was just the mini comics you got with them.
Right.
So yeah, from that iteration, from the Filmation.
He's talking about these. Which
Well, those are the new.
These are the new ones, but they
from the
they
origins.
look similar.
But yeah. Pretty similar. Some of them actually had a lot more pages than those too.
Right.
She-Ra, Princess of Power, the New Adventures of He-Man, which I only when it aired, I only was able to catch a few episodes of because it came on at 6 a.m. I wasn't going to get up at 6 a.m. during the morning because I like to sleep and I didn't want to go to school, so I was going to stay in bed as long as I could possibly do so.
Right.
I did catch the 2002 series. Loved it.
Yeah. I same. I remember when I seen the preview for it. It was on Cartoon Network. I think I was watching like Dragon Ball Z at the time, and I was like, He-Man, Masters of the Universe, and I was just like, what? Really? Okay.
Oh,
okay.
God, when I found out about that, you'd swear like there was a girl living here. I freaking like.
Did you do the screech? The Bobby Hill screech?
Oh yeah. And then when I found the action figures, I found them first in KB Toys. When we had a KB Toys here in the mall. They were just stocking them. I'm like, oh, can you hold these for me? And they're like, no. I'm like,
jerks.
So I ended up running out of the mall, coming home. I used to have a suitcase full of old Mad magazines, and I'm talking about before I was born old.
Oh wow!
I was born in '79. I took them to an antique store, and they go, "We can't really give you a lot for them. What are you looking for?" And I thought about how many figures there were and how much price was. I think it was somewhere around $50 or something like that at the time. She gave it to me. Sped back to the mall to KB Toys, and I picked up He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Beast Man. I swear there was one more. I got to it later, not too far later. So yeah, that was.
Man.
And then you know where those were spawned? The idea for those were back in 2001. They brought out the commemorative series figures, which are the vintage figures that's re-released, remolded, and it's pretty much the same mold. They had to recast old figures to get the new mold. Then we got Master Universe Classics, and now we have Origins. We got these guys.
Yes, I'm loving the Revelation line, man. I'm loving it. I can't wait till series 2. I'm really excited about like Duncan Man-at-Arms and who else was there? Spike Tour, and I know Tila was one of them. And
it was Tila, Man-at-Arms, Spike-Or, and Beast Man.
Yes.
I'm worried about Beast Man because I'm not seeing a whip in his bubble. I'm not seeing a weapon.
Oh.
He doesn't have an interchangeable head either.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. Maybe it's behind him.
And of course, the deluxe figure this time, we had Skelegod last time. This time it's Faker.
Right. From the pictures I've seen of Faker, man, he looks awesome.
The figures themselves are awesome, but if you like the show or not, you've got to give it up. The figures look amazing.
My favorite so far is probably, I don't know, man. I'm loving the Battle Cat. The
Battle Cat's amazing.
When you take that helmet off and he's Cringer, and it's just like, why didn't they do this with? And then they're like, oh yeah, 80s. You know, but I mean, it's awesome. I'm loving it, and I love the series. And when I first heard Kevin Smith was doing it, I was like, man, like, because I know, I've read the Hit Girl comics he's done, the Black Cat, and I've read some of the Arrow, and he's good with keeping the essence of the characters and trying to stick to what we know.
Yeah.
With a little bit of change, but not bad.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I want to say we finally actually get into the show, talked about the revelation.
Yes.
Spoilers ahead, because you really can't talk about the show without
no.
spoilers.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it yet, I'd stop watching this and come back when you're done.
Exactly.
Because if not,
it's over 2 hours long.
Because not, you're gonna be pissed.
So,
wow.
let's get it. I would like to do episode by episode, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
we're going to end up
we're just going to all over.
So let's talk about the issue everybody has. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Okay. Everybody who doesn't like it feels like they've been lied to because, according to them, Kevin Smith lied because he said this wasn't the Tila show. What he said was, this isn't a Tila show. This isn't a He-Man show. This is Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Encompassing all the characters, every character. And he did state that Tila was a big, prominent character in the storyline.
Yep.
No lines.
It starts out with her coordination into the Man of Arms. And you're like, okay, sweet, about time, because 80s, even 2000s, she was out there kicking ass like every episode. And it just kind of goes. It starts off and it goes. You see He-Man coming up Castle Grayskull with 2 prisoners, and you're just like, okay, something's fishy.
Yeah, He-Man doesn't do fishy.
That. Yeah. Especially he's riding I can't even think. The mechanical.
He's riding
mechanical horse looking thing.
Oh my God! This was one of my first He-Man vehicles. Stridor.
Yes. And you're just like,
why is he riding Battle Cat?
Right. Like, where's Battle Cat? Why isn't Battle Cat? But then you see Cringer at the ceremony or whatever for.
And then it switches back, and then it switches to see He-Man at Castle Grayskull, to see Adam at the palace.
And you're like, wait, is this a flashback or like,
No, you're immediate. And I was immediate like Faker.
But for a minute, I was like, is this a flashback or what? And then I was like, wait a minute. Are they really going to, Faker, first episode, first scene, just get right into it?
And the thing I was curious about up until it happened was, okay, there's who did he had Clawful with him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he had Spikor with him.
Spikor and the
Clawful.
Yeah.
And those. I was like, well, where's Skeletor? So they had me there revealing that Spikor was actually Skeletor holding the shield.
Yes. And that was nuts. I was like, oh, it's going down. And then I take that back. What got me is while Skeletor reveals himself, like Sorceress is just like, oh, Skeletor, you're here, blah, blah, blah. You think you're going to be able to do this and that. And she's not even paying attention to He-Man behind her or nothing. And she blasts him and she's just like, ha ha ha, yeah, see, nothing ever changes. And I'm like, okay. I'm waiting for him to just be like, ugh, and grab her.
We saw that in the trailer. We saw that in the teaser. We know at some point.
Yep. And it was just like.
So you say that's how the show started. Let's go back further. Because that's not really how the show started. Probably my favorite part of the series was the opening narration with all that beautiful artwork. All those toy artworks and the narration pretty much almost straight out of the original 87 movie.
Right. It was amazing, man.
That pulled me in immediately.
It was like the 80s comic covers combined.
Covers, fan art work, the posters. Oh yeah. It was That was amazing.
It was like the music hit, and I already was like, oh yeah, here we go, and yeah, it definitely it started with a bang.
So, and then of course, we get real He-Man does end up showing up. Sorceress has to psychically call him
right, and
during the ceremony, which Adam does not skip the ceremony. He actually stays there till the end, and then it's announced that hey, Castle Grayskull's under attack.
Yep.
And Teela, the new Man-at-Arms, needs to go. Adam's like, right, I will find He-Man.
Right. And it was awesome. It was great because like Teela seen him get like the headache. She was like, wait, what's that? What's going on? She got her little first, I feel like, glimpse of, it was kind of like a glimpse of what's to come. Like when they showed her seeing him get the headaches, I'm like, oh, she's gonna find out like real quick that he's that
so were you surprised that Queen Marlena knew that Prince Adam was He-Man? Because she didn't come out and said she knew, but a mother knows.
Oh yeah, they gave hints away in the 80s cartoon that she.
I don't think they really did in the cartoon, but in the comics they did.
Yeah,
they kind of gave the hint.
All right, and but when she was like, "Be careful," and then they leave.
Yeah, and Susan said that you're like, she knows.
She knows. It's mother's intuition. Your son doesn't matter if he's transformed into something else or not. Like, it's like I feel like if you take Tommy morphed into whatever color he's going to be that day and put his mother next to him, she'd be like, and she like, that's my son. It's mother's intuition, mother's thing.
Yeah. So let's skip ahead a bit. It says, this is spoiler heavy, but we want to leave some stuff. But the one thing, of course, has already been spoiled because of all the tweets and posts, is, of course, He-Man sacrificing himself.
Yes.
Turning back into Prince Adam, doing so. Revealing to Teela who he is. And then we get back to let's not forget to point out that he has tried to tell her at least once or twice in this episode the truth. She didn't want to hear.
Right. Like he was like, she's like, I know all the secrets of the kingdom or whatever. I think it was, she said, wasn't it?
Something.
Or secret of Eternia. And he was like, not all secrets. You still don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And she was just kind of like, He-Man? Like, oh, what? And it was like.
But we go to the death of He-Man.
Yes.
And we go straight to the palace. And now Man-at-Arms says, He-Man's fallen, which allows Queen Marlene to go, just lose it. And everybody's wondering, why the fuck is she spazzing out? Of course, Teela knows now.
Yeah.
And the only one in the room not in the know is Randor.
Oh.
And this is another thing people had big issues with Randor acting out the way he did.
I mean, in a way, but he kind of acted.
You're a father.
You're right.
How would you react if your daughter had this huge secret everybody but you knew? It came to fruition at a really bad time. God forbid her death. How would you react?
You mean like if it came to somebody like Duncan?
The Randor finding out the way he did.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'd probably fly off the handles. But then again, like if I had somebody like Duncan standing in front of me, like, the prince swore us to secrecy and we couldn't tell you. He didn't want you to know. And I'd be pissed. Don't get me wrong, but
you think he overreacted?
I when it comes to Duncan, I think he overreacted because it's Duncan. It's Man-at-Arms, man. Like
he's been around forever.
He's one of the reasons why he was king mostly. fighting side by side before anything. And it was like, is it honestly too much to say that Duncan was probably his best friend, a brother?
Pretty much.
You know, just the way he was just treating him like he was like just got drafted and found out the secret. And like that day, everything happened. Like, you're done. You're stripped of this. And if you ever step foot back on this, I'll kill you. Like, come on, man. That's too much. Like,
Okay. Well, then let's go to the next person who decided to throw a temper tantrum and continue. And then this again, this is where issues from for all 5 episodes people have, and I can see their point
right.
with this. And then we go to Tila, who throws another temper tantrum throughout all 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, woe is me. Everybody lied to me.
Right.
So I get where their issue is with Tila.
Right. I get it. I mean, to Tila, her dad lied to her. The Queen lied to her. Adam lied to her. He-Man lied to her.
Orko lied to her.
Cringer lied. Like,
who we find out she named Cringer.
Right. Yeah, that was a surprise.
That origin kind of got changed a bit along with Orko's in this series.
Right. To me, I feel like she acted out too quickly. She should have sat with it a little bit. Because I mean, you're in front of the guy's mom and dad. Like, they just lost their son. Like, dad's already freaking out. Like, what the hell, man? So you're just like, he gets to throw fits, so do I. Listen up. Like, no, man, you can't do that. I feel like, you're in front of, like, and she even tells the Queen, like, you knew and you didn't say nothing. You didn't even
what
say
did they do? Get divorced or something?
Yeah.
He kicked Man at Arms out, he get Tila out.
You lie. Screw you. I want to divorce.
Take her in the back bedroom there and just slap the shit out of her. What did he do?
Right. Like,
at that point, the king, I wouldn't have put anything past him at that particular point.
No. But like, what gets me is while Tila's having her little spiffy, like, the king's just standing there, like, letting her fucking talk. But then you get like Duncan, who's trying to explain himself, and he's like, shut up. You just shut up. You don't say another word. And Tila snaps out. He's just like, go on, honey, do your thing. Like, come on, man.
And that's the whole episode. That's the whole thing right there.
Like, to me, if somebody would have snapped on a king like that, doesn't matter who it is, king would have been like, off with her head. You don't talk to me that way. You don't talk to my wife that way. Like, who the hell do you think you are, kind of thing.
Right.
But then he might have been like, he was lied to too by all those people. So he might have been like, yeah, we're pissed. Like, screw this shit,
And then we got throughout all the rest of the episodes. Again, we got it flash forwards. Does it actually say how many years?
It doesn't. It's just like episode 1 ends. Yeah, episode 1 ends with Tila leaving the castle, and then episode 2 picks up with Tila going to steal something from a garbage room or something
with Stinkor. Was that?
Yeah.
No, that was episode. Yeah. So, which, by the way, loved Stinkor. Would have loved to have more scenes with him. Jason used it. Austin had like one line, I think, out of that.
Right.
And but then we get to the new Teal, shaved head, hair over here, very butch looking. With, of course, immediately she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
And of course her friend Andra,
yeah.
Andra is her lover, which nowhere in the series do they even act like a couple. They act like a couple of close friends.
Do you know what they're going off of when they say that they're in a lesbian relationship? You know what they're going off of?
The hair, the look. And she got muffins.
No, from what I've seen and people freaking out about is the scene that they're going off of, saying that that's how you could tell is when they went to Snake Mountain and Triclops is talking his talk about, and they're in the cloaks and Tila grabs her hand and they look at each other. Remember that?
That was out of fear.
Yeah, it was.
That's
yeah.
what they're going by.
That's what people are going by. And I'm like, to me,
So they're
that
seeing
scene,
what they're wanting to see, essentially.
right.
They're seeing more
To
into
me,
things.
to me,
And
that scene is.
I want to say something now. We're not going to bash anybody here. You're going to like what you like. You're going to dislike what you dislike.
Right.
But to the people who, and this goes for the people who like it, the people who dislike this, don't try to change the person's mind of why they shouldn't like it.
Exactly.
I mean, if they like something, that should be a good thing, especially if it's not hurting anybody. Why are you going to try taking that away from them?
Right. And it's like,
to be respectful, do the
right.
teachings that you were taught,
yeah,
by He-Man and then in the 80s. If you are a fan, please, do so.
exactly.
Don't send death threats or wish somebody dead.
Oh, man. Poor
Kill,
Kevin.
threaten, you're not a true fan if you like this. Or you're not a true fan if you don't like this. And
right.
we're all fans of the same franchise. We just have different likes and dislikes. I mean, there are plenty of people who do not like the New Adventures of He-Man.
Right.
There are a lot of people who don't like the 2002 or the Filmation,
right?
But they like other stuff. And that, as a community, we need to come together and support each other on both ends.
Exactly. Like, if you don't like it, okay, that's fine.
Let's discuss it. If you don't like it, discuss civil conversation.
Right. Exactly. And it's not. Debate. And it's not because
not like I'm older than you, so I know more, and I'm older than you, and I've watched it longer, so you don't know shit.
Oh man,
I know all.
That's wow. Like that, I feel like that's like a 6th grader talking to a 5th grader because I'm in junior high now and I know things more than you, and I'm older, and it's just like, come on.
But back to the show. So, I mean, I understand the issues people have with Tila, and I understand their expectations were high for a new He-Man series. They wanted He-Man. They wanted He-Man all the time. They wanted, like, the Filmation and the New Adventures. I get that. So I understand their disappointment. But at the same time, can you put that aside long enough to try to look at the overall story that's trying to be told? And to keep in mind that this is only half of the story. I sent you a link to one of Smith's interviews or Q&As. I'm not sure if you watched it. But in that, he said he wanted to air all 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Because he knew in the moment Netflix cut it in half, it was Netflix who cut it in half, not Smith. That one episode 5 stopped and the people got to wait for 6. He's like, oh my God, something's going to, he said something's not going to be right.
Yeah. He's like, he pretty much said he knew this was going to happen. And it's sad, 6, man.
And he spoiled the fact that episode 6, we're getting He-Man back.
Right.
And in episode 7, He-Man and Skeletor are going to have this massive battle.
Right. I feel like he's just sick of it because it's all the time. It's been nonstop.
I think he's amused by it, honestly. Because he's trolling. He has sent out trolling remarks. Like awesome news. He started Clerks 3. They did a reading the day, and he goes, I wonder how Dante is going to react when he finds out that Dante dies.
Yeah,
the fans should love that.
Right. I know what
people have been trolling him.
Yeah. It's great. It's been great though. I mean, I think he's handling it real well. I don't know how it's going on the Netflix side or the Mattel side.
He said it. He said it. He went to Netflix and said, "Hey, look at all these bad reviews. Look at all these audience reviews on like Rotten Tomato." And Netflix is like, so they're watching. Right. They're like, have you seen the other reviews?
Right.
We're good. This means nothing. We like it.
Like the damn show's in the top 10. Like,
and he also did not let slip that there's going to be more episodes.
Yeah.
season 2. So I'm calling the
Oh
season
man.
1 part 1 and season 1 part 2. That's what I'm referring to it as.
Right. Part 2. I can't wait, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel cheated. There's only 5 episodes, but it was so good. I loved it.
And he even hinted before the series ended that people can die. We got death.
Right.
Orko was probably the big death.
Man,
we knew He-Man wasn't going to stay dead.
That pulled on my heartstrings, man.
And it was
Orko, like, from what I remember as a kid and everything else, Orko was just like the jester of the whole show. You know, he was the comedy relief. He was the annoying. He was the Jar Jar Binks of Masters of the Universe.
I actually liked Orko. I actually drew a picture of Orko and put him on the fridge at one point. But I also know there's people out there who did not like him. And that's where he was doing with the character. For those who didn't like him, he was trying to build him up to be this character who you were sympathized with and like and love, and then kind of squashes it.
Oh man.
Which and again, he goes, does nobody ever watch Lord of the Rings? Because, in Lord of the Rings, once Gandalf, falls in the pit, you never see him again.
Right.
So hinting at Orko is not dead. He just went to another dimension. Possibly.
Right. I'm hoping so. Wouldn't it be great if he just comes back? Rebuilt. He's like, I am now Oracle. And he's just like in a different, completely wardrobe, like Gandalf went from gray to white.
No, I think he'll still stick with Orko, but then they'll probably call him Orko the Great, which is what he was called on Trala in the Filmation series.
Right. And
he was the most powerful wizard there.
Right. He pulled on my heartstrings, man. Like I was shocked. I can honestly say the most shocking death.
I wasn't so much shocked. I was disappointed because I wanted more Moss Man. but don't forget, Smells Like Pine.
Smells Like Pine.
Love that throw. And this series is filled with Easter eggs. Some people don't care. They just want a good story. Me, I want a good story. But if you can throw some Easter eggs in there too, I'm a happy guy. This was a fan service show so far.
Yes. It was great.
But no, Moss Man, the one that surprised me, didn't get to my heartstrings. Orko got to my heartstrings. The one that surprised me the most was the end where Prince Adam is stabbed.
Oh my God.
By Skeletor. You're
come the hell on, is what I said as soon as that happened.
Like, again?
Right. Like, are you freaking kidding me, man? Like, and he's just like, Tila's like, I don't know. I'm just like, what the hell? It's nuts, man. And you didn't expect it at all because, like, the dude just came back.
The thing is, I should have. Because there was a few scenes where Evelyn looks at her staff and you see her being hypnotized a bit.
Right.
And you're like, and I should have guessed right then and there. I'm like, oh, Skeletor's in her staff.
Right.
I should have picked up on it. If you go back and rewatch it, you could totally see it.
Right.
You're like,
I thought she was just like, when I watched it, I honestly thought, like, she kept looking at her staff, right? So I'm thinking she's checking on the orb her and the sorcerers put in the staff to make sure it's still, good going.
Yeah. But there was that one scene where you see her eyes swirled a bit and they pop back in.
Back. Yeah. And that was nuts, man. And I'm not going to lie, it pissed me off. Like, Skeletor, comes back and they're just like, oh, I'm so happy to have you back after I talk shit about you the whole show. the whole first 4 episodes after the first.
But you have to remember there's that conversation with her and Tila where she comes out and tells Tila, you still love He-Man.
Right.
And Tila has this look like, yeah. And then Tila responds right back. She goes, but I'm not the only one carrying a torch for an old man, meaning Skeletor.
Right.
Which, that was the thing.
It's and that's another thing. Like, they're still going, people are still saying she's, in a lesbian relationship because of, her new friend. when they full out had a fledged conversation about her, being in love with He-Man. And it's like, come on, man.
Okay,
Like,
maybe he's bisexual.
maybe. If she is, okay, cool beans,
Like, who gives it? It's like they didn't come right out and shove it in your face like
Right.
She-Ra Princesses of Power did.
Right. And
which to me, again, you don't have to like it, you don't have to love it, you don't have to like my opinion. I thought the show was garbage.
Yeah. You're not the only one from what I understand. But
I'm sorry,
from what
this is
also
a lot more watchable than that.
right. But from what I She-Ra Princess of Power is pointed toward
Princesses.
princesses, that's right, my bad. Is pointed towards the younger audience.
The younger audience and the other demographic.
Right. But it is what it is. Like they completely like revamped her. It wasn't continuing from the original or not like that.
And I think that's something else that has ticked a lot of people off is they were so afraid that that's what we were going to get again.
Right.
We were going to get that again. And
I completely understand.
Oh yeah, I do. I completely understand. But I really think the hate on both sides is just unwarranted.
I honestly believe She-Ra Princesses of Power is one of the main reasons why someone like Smith got hired to do Masters of the Universe is because I don't know who directed it, who wrote it, none of that.
He wrote a few episodes. If we're talking about Revelation, he wrote a few episodes. He wrote the 6th episode, he said. I know for sure he said.
No, I know. I'm talking about She-Ra.
Oh, the new show on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't know who did any of that.
I know the voice cast constantly put down the original voice cast and put down the original fans. That
right. But
so far, the only person to do that on this series is Sarah Michelle Gellar, who she can go Buffy herself.
She's, man, what was it? She said something about, like they didn't cater to women in the original series, but like
late BS.
Right. Tila always
had a couple of her own episodes.
Yeah.
Tila and Eva Lynn had a couple of their own episodes.
Right.
There was a whole episode, Tila's Quest, that was solely on her story.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is this is where this new one is going. This is where Revelation is
exactly, man.
We're going to get He-Man back. Tila's going to become the sorceress. This Andrea girl, I bet she's going to become the new Man at Arms.
Right.
I feel it should be Clamp Champ, which we didn't get a lot of in this series so far. She's a little upset about that.
With her, it's kind of like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, she's a character that doesn't need to be there. If you wanted a person of color or diversity, we have Clamp Champ. That's why he was actually created.
Yeah. And
bring him in.
Right. And Tila, like I feel like, okay, the way episode 1 ended and they went into episode 2 and it was Tila, I'm like, that makes sense. And then people are like, yeah, let's just have Tila lead everybody to go get the swords and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, yeah, who else would?
Yeah, that was like
Duncan's pretty much
main sidekick. Why wouldn't the sidekick continue to carry the torch?
It's like when
how dare Bucky Barnes become the new Captain America?
Oh, how could you? Or what was it
until Captain America comes back?
Right. Anytime anything happens to Batman, one of the 27 Robins is on his tail trying to find out what's going on. Come on, it's the sidekick's job. And I hate to call her sidekick, but she is. And it sucks because people are pissed that He-Man wasn't all about in the series. And it's like, if you would shut up and watch, you'd see this awesome story that's unfolding.
Speaking of story, let's talk about probably the best episode of the 5 episodes, Scareglow.
Oh my God. In a way, I want to talk about Scareglow, but in a way, I don't want to talk about Scareglow.
Because you missed out on that Scareglow figure like I did.
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, that pissed me off. Got on the site, gone. Like I
Yeah,
just
man.
got on the thing right when it like went up for sale, and
I feel like Mattel's having the same problem like Target did when
the
uh,
box. Yeah.
when the buying got overwhelmed on their website. And
Yeah.
when like
Um,
yeah, but
but then we find out that Sub Eternia is the equivalent to Hell,
yeah,
and which I was kind of cool with. But the thing, this is another one of my nitpicks. Preternia as Heaven. Not happy about. Preternia is supposed to be past Eternia.
yeah,
That's that.
and right.
It should not. They should have done something else for that. I enjoyed seeing it. I mean, it's straight out of the toy, the play set. You had all three towers. You had the rail. I just don't think that part should have been.
Right.
I had an issue with that.
Right.
Love the Lord of the Rings reference though.
Yeah. It was good, man. I liked it. When they first entered in and Adam's like, by the power of Grayskull, like, how did you get here? I was just like, oh, that's great. And then they started introducing characters that's never really been like too animated or
King Grayskull. I forget the name of the original sorceress. She was there. We had Vicor. We had Hero.
Yes.
That was something else I had an issue with. They portrayed Hero as a dunce, an idiot, a moron.
Have you read the comic, man?
I have it right. It's sitting over here. I'm getting ready to read it.
You got to read it, man, because it explains more about Grayskull, Hero.
Because I know all about the original backstory between Hero and Eldor. So, yeah. If that's something that they're changing for this, that I might have an issue with.
Right. I read the comic. It pieces together a lot of that last episode, like characters and what they're doing and everything. And I loved it. I'm not gonna say much because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, but I'll end up reading it after I get done.
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to read it beforehand, but I decided to go and watch Snake Eyes movie instead. Right. Because AMC, AMC, they don't do early. The earliest show you can normally go to is a 4:00 show, and at that point, I'm like, either Cindy's home or she's going to be home, and
Right. No, I totally.
But on Tuesdays they actually have like shows that start at 1:00, and I'm like, perfect.
Yes.
So
that's awesome. But
it's a good movie. I like it.
Yeah.
Again, another unpopular opinion.
But yeah, man, episode 5. I really like King Grayskull. I'm really hoping
I like King Grayskull more than I thought I would.
Yeah. I'm hoping we get a figure of him. Hero was cool. I liked how he was trying to help him put the thing back together. It was just kind of like, man, and then
another death.
Yeah.
Roboto.
Oh man, yes, that was
Josh
sad.
Long.
Right, and it was sad because, and then he's talking, and he's just making it worse as he's dying, and I'm just like, stop talking, man. Like, I already like you, and you're just like making me feel even worse about it.
So here's the thing. So we mentioned the death of He-Man. Obviously, he came back. Well, now we got the supposed death of He-Man again, which we know he's not going to die. Right. Orko, we never saw him die. We saw him disappear. No. Well, he'll be back. Roboto, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
Yeah. Did they even bring his body back, though?
I don't know. I hope they just didn't leave him in Eternia.
Right. Like, come on, man. He's like, a piece of metal. Grab him up and carry him across.
And then there's Moss Man, who he's nature.
Right.
He's nature incarnate.
We know
Yes,
he's
that
in
Moss Man
Preternia.
is stuck in Preternia. But what if, his essence is still in that forest and, he doesn't even have to be gone.
Yeah, he's just when he showed up in episode 5, I was happy because I feel
I
like
like
he
hearing
always
Alan Oppenheimer's voice anyway.
right. I always feel like Moss Man gets like the short end of the stick when it comes to appearances on episodes.
Short end of the stick.
That smells like fine.
Nice accidental pun.
Right. Because like I said, like I hate to admit it because I feel it makes me feel like a dill hole, but I didn't find out Mossman was a good guy until like a week ago. And I was just like, really?
Yeah, we were talking, we were messaging back and forth, and you're like, wait, Mossman's a good guy?
Yeah. And it's like, what? Come on, man. I like I said, I felt like a dunce. But it was like right. Because he even in the original, he wasn't in that. He was in what, like an episode? Maybe
I
2?
think 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he was not in the episode with Evil Seed,
right.
which would have totally made sense.
Right. And then in the 2000 series, he was again not really in that much.
I think 1 episode, maybe.
Yeah. So either I seen those and just kind of forgot, and then when his action figure came out, I was like, oh man, like Moss Man, like why? And I kept thinking to myself, like, this whole line's bad guys besides like He-Man and Battle Cat, and then I was proved wrong.
Well, what doesn't help is the fact that every time he has a figure, they just reuse the Beastman mold.
Yeah.
So he looks like a green fuzzy Beastman.
Yeah.
With the exception of the new Revelation line. I think that might be the first time they've used a complete new mold.
Yeah. But this time, man, I mean, they've done some
excellent sculpt.
That's definitely a different design than Beastman in the series, and the feet and all. And it's just like,
as far as those figures go, he's probably the best sculpted.
Yeah, definitely.
But the best figure still in my mind is that Evil Lynn figure.
It is.
And I only have He-Man and Skeletor sitting right here. I got the other figures on the cross.
I suck because I still like to display my Evil Lynn with the long hair. I don't know. It's just cool. I just feel like she's more witchy.
And now we know why she has the short wand.
Yeah.
At some point, because her staff got cut in the battle between her and Tila at the bottom of Castle Grayskull.
Yes.
So she starts with that long staff, but ends up with that wand.
Right. And
so that
was it was so good. It was good. I loved it. I love that part when, classic Tila Evil Lynn fight is what I was thinking. And she cut down that staff and you're just like, so that's how. But
real quick, I want to address viewers on our Facebook page, the Masters of the Geekverse Facebook page. I had on there, if you had any questions or comments or anything like that, to put them down there. Continue to do that. We haven't had any so far, but if you ask us a question, we'll answer it on there.
Oh yeah, we got you. Yeah, definitely. And ask us anything.
As soon as we get 1,000 subscribers, we'll do this shit live, and you can talk to us live. But we need that 1,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below. Again,
depends on where you're watching.
Yeah, that subscribe button doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps the channel out.
So, and we need that help because this is awesome, and I'm loving it.
But
yeah, man,
we only have a certain amount of time on these things. So
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to discuss real quick or questions?
Yeah, there's a lot, honestly, but we've only got so much time. When it comes down to it, man, just if you're not watching the show,
I don't know.
yeah, if you're not watching the show because you're just like, I'm not gonna watch it because somebody told me Kevin Smith lied to us. Don't do that. Watch the show. Go in with a clear mind. Don't
Judge
listen.
for yourself.
Yeah, don't listen to YouTube, Facebook, and all that. I mean, I went in. I went in and was just like, I'm gonna check it out. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. Like,
I
at
think of
least
both of us, you're still kind of the new guy.
I am. I recently got back into Masters of the Universe. When I heard Kevin Smith was making it a couple years ago, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely gonna watch that because I watch a lot. Yeah, everything Kevin Smith does.
We're both Kevin Smith heads.
Oh yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that everything Kevin Smith has made is good. Or sometimes, everybody's got their bad stuff, everybody's got their good stuff. Just it happens. But go in, watch it. I had a buddy who went in expected everything to be true that he's heard, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me like, I think I need to watch it a second time, and he came back and he was like, I shouldn't have listened to what everybody else was saying. I should have done what I usually do, going with an open mind and watch this thing because it's actually really good. He didn't lie to us, and it is what it is when it comes down to it. Like, I feel like people wanted him to know more. Like, they wanted spoilers, and Smith and Netflix and Mattel just wasn't going to let it happen. But when it comes down to it, my opinion, the show's amazing. Watch it, and form your own opinion, and just don't let people get to you. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it. That's fine too. Like, it is what it is.
Exactly. So
yeah.
And just stop being so just hateful towards everybody.
Right. Like,
bottom line, we're all part of the same O2 community. Support each other.
Yeah. Just, be cool is all you can really say, because the past couple of weeks have just been like toxic. Like, I'm trying to remember if it was this bad during Phantom Menace.
And it was still in its infancy stage. This goes all the way to Star Wars, man, the new sequels.
Right. That's like the new sequels got hate. Don't get me wrong, and it was divided. But this, I just feel like has been.
I feel rightfully so, honestly.
Right. And I feel like Smith is like, and that's what people. I feel like that's what people don't realize is like, okay, Kevin Smith may be the showrunner, write it, and executive producer, but like, here's Smith, and then here's like Mattel and Netflix. So I mean, I feel like he's getting the whole butt of the everything, and like Netflix and Mattel's just kind of like, it is what it is.
Holding him out as a human shield.
Right. Like, here's Kevin Smith. Feed him to the fans. Oh, look, there's the bones of Daisy Riley down there.
Well, I think now is a good time to end this.
Yes.
This isn't always going to be about Masters of the Universe, even though the name is Masters of the Geekverse.
Right. Yeah, that's just the name. Don't let it throw you off.
It's the name. It's a nice homage to one of our favorite franchises. And
we can talk. Next episode, I feel like we should probably discuss, because we haven't discussed it yet. What's going on with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan?
CM Punk, Bryan Danielson,
excuse me. Sorry about that. Hopefully, people don't judge me on that.
They
But
will.
yeah,
I
that's
judge you for that.
I'm sorry. But that's definitely a topic for the next episode. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot
We
going
don't have to
on.
stick to a single topic in an episode either. So
Right.
we
Just
can jump to
ramble
other things.
on. Enjoy our rambles.
Or you guys can comment down below and let us know what you would like to hear.
Tell us what you want to hear about.
Again, this is Geekverse. So, I mean, this encompasses, not just, action figures and toys, but, video games, board games,
TV shows,
movies,
wrestling.
We can try sports, but you won't get a lot of conversation between us. So
and Mark McGuire get them 100 home runs, like.
So that one player really hit that good 3-shot in that basketball game the other night, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
If you want us to talk about sports, we can talk about the new Space Jam.
Do we have to?
We don't have to, but I mean that's about as wrestling and Space Jam.
I don't want to see it. I'm not a LeBron guy.
I watched it. I'm so conflicted on it. It had its moments. Some of the cameos, I was like, "Oh!" But I mean, LeBron.
Did you really go? Ooh.
I did, because I saw some, and I was like, "Oh, what's he doing there?" Like,
I do have a question about it. Again, potential spoiler here for anybody who hasn't seen Space Jam, the new one. Does Michael Jordan make a cameo?
One of them does.
What? Okay, not Michael B. Jordan. I heard about that cameo.
Yes,
but does the former Chicago Bull Hall of Fame champion? Like, no, not at all.
No,
so even he didn't want his name attached to this.
Right. Like, he's mentioned, like, Bugs is like always like, what, like, oh, it's him. Like, oh, we need to find him. Like,
what would Mike do? Yeah. Even the cartoon characters don't want LeBron.
Yeah. My favorite part of it was when they went to the Justice League Unlimited universe.
No, nice.
I was like, I knew I wanted to watch this probably for this one.
I'll have to check out YouTube clips from it. I don't want to watch it.
It's got its moments, and LeBron's not like, he's not political or anything like that. Like, there's not like that in it.
He's a jerk.
Yeah. I mean,
if I can watch it for free on streaming at some point, maybe I'll check it out on a day while I'm bored and have no episodes of JoJo Sour to watch or something.
Right.
That was JoJo Sour.
It happens. But yeah,
well, you have girls. You have girls, so they may, of course, they might watch it.
We're past the JoJo stage, though. I feel like the oldest is she was past it like a year and a half ago, and then the youngest, she mentions her every once in a while, but she doesn't ask for the bows and shoes and stuff.
What you need to do is sit them down and says, "This is your new TV show now."
No.
Show the old Masters, the old She-Ra, all of the old He-Man Saga series, New Adventures, and go, "This is your religion."
Right. Right now, it's all about anime, like My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer. What else is there? There's a couple other ones, and skateboarding. So I try. I'm always like, "Hey, you should watch this," and they're just like, "Yeah, okay." Not. And then walk off.
Daddy watches it, so it can't be any good.
Right. Like, if you watch it, it's probably about old people.
So.
Right. Like, how dare you?
And here we go with the rambling.
This is what most episodes will be like, so just stay tuned.
There will probably be some more rambling at some point. If you're into rambling, you come to the right place.
Right.
Again, I am Retro John. I am here with Double J, Jared Joseph. Please hit that subscribe button. Again, it costs you nothing, but it helps us a lot. It helps us to grow. Hit that like button if you like this, and leave a comment down below. How do we do for our first episode?
Look us up on Facebook, Masters of the Geekverse podcast.
What was that?
Masters of the Geekverse podcast. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you want to hear. Let us know. Go to the Facebook, YouTube, all that.
Come out. You want to.
Yeah. Maybe we're good news for you. Go big and get a Twitter or Instagram or something someday, somehow.
And I'm sure at some point we'll do a Patreon. Jared here is coming up with some cool stuff for him and I to wear out and about and during the podcast. So maybe that's something we can do if you are really into the show and you want to help support us. We could maybe get some merch on here. Everything is open in the air.
All right. We're see how things go. See how things go. Hopefully they go good. Hopefully you enjoy the show and figure it out from there.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Until next week.
Stay geeky.
Stay geeky. And you know what? I'll say it. What the hell? Like they say on Eternia, they don't say goodbye. They say good journey.